Hello, Endgame community, and welcome back. I'm Pierre, he's Chris, and we're here to talk about our favorite boom plays of the week for fantasy football. Again, our goal is always to help you win, so we're going to give you some advice with some of the players that we really like that could break out in week 7. It's a tough week with so many teams on bye, but let's look at the matchups and see who we like. So, Chris, let's start things off.
Let's just get crazy and start things with a tight end. I'm going to start with Ricky Seals-Jones, who hopefully, if you needed a tight end last week, you picked him up and started him because he did great, led the team in receiving, had the team's only touchdown. But what I really liked about this Ricky Seals-Jones last week was he got the Logan Thomas role. He played 100% of the snaps, which is extremely rare for a tight end. Even Travis Kelce doesn't play 100% of the snaps. Now this week, going up against Green Bay, they're below average again. They're not like a great smash type matchup where you just say, oh, wow, they can't stop tight ends, but they're below average against tight ends. And for a guy getting 100% of the snaps, who really, you got a banged up Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel might never be back. They don't really have anybody else. You got to like Ricky Seals-Jones' opportunity to boom again in week 7.
Yeah, as soon as you said the name Ricky Seals-Jones, I'm thinking of that Jack Nicholson gif where he's like, yes. Look, just the name alone inspires confidence. I was predicting the Ricky Seals-Jones breakout 2 years ago, and of course, it didn't happen. But this is the year it's finally happened. So, I love that pick. I'm definitely on board with it. Now, for my first one, I kind of hinted at this in our must-start wide receiver video. The Texans, of course, it's all about Brandon Cooks in the passing game. But now, another name has emerged. So you might remember that Nico Collins, rookie out of Michigan, was selected and missed a couple of weeks, right? He had a little bit of limited action the first couple of weeks, and then he's been injured, so hasn't played until this past week. He resurfaced and did okay. 4 catches on 6 targets for 44 yards, but that's just the beginning because now they're going to face Arizona, and you know that, like it or not, they're going to have to pass a ton just to keep up. And, Chris Conley left the game with an injury, a neck injury. Anthony Miller, who looked like he might come on, well, he's gone. He's not even with the team anymore. They exiled him. There's just really nobody else there to throw to in Houston, let's face it. So I really like the chance for a lot of targets in this game. Collins is an exciting athlete, somebody that you see has some run after catch ability. I like his chances to kind of break out in this game. Not saying I predict a massive output from any Houston Texans player, except for maybe Brandon Cooks, but still, I think Collins is a guy to keep an eye on, especially in a week where there's so many players on bye. So a little deep league special for you there. All right, before we go on with our favorite boom picks of this week, don't forget to click that little button and give us a like if you appreciate what we're doing here. We definitely appreciate your support. All right, Chris, give me another boom play for week 7.
Well, you know what? Let's just go with another tight end. Why not? Most exciting position in fantasy football, right? The tight end. I think Dallas Goedert is going to boom this week. Look, Zach Ertz, now an Arizona Cardinal. Jalen Hurts has been targeting tight ends at about a 25% target share, which is a huge target share for any player, for a wide receiver, anybody. No other tight end on this roster other than Dallas Goedert. And this matchup just screams a Dallas Goedert game because the Raiders are actually pretty good against wide receivers, but they're very bad against tight ends. So I think Dallas Goedert is another tight end who's going to boom in week 7. So if you don't have Ricky Seals-Jones, maybe go out and see if Dallas Goedert's available. He'll boom for you in week 7 as well.
Mr. Ban, the tight end from fantasy football, now has picked 2 tight ends in 1 week. Something's going on here. I guess it's because it's almost Halloween. All right, so I'm going to go with a guy that you might have forgotten about because the Saints were on bye this past week. But don't forget the last 2 games, Marquez Callaway has finally emerged. We remember all his preseason heroics, and then he just did absolutely nothing the first couple of weeks, fell flat. But then now it's happening, right? I know, yeah, he caught that kind of Hail Mary at the end of the half, and that gave him a lot of points. But he also caught a long touchdown, and the week before came up with 75 yards. He's becoming a deep threat. And, look, that's all you need from a boom. We're not looking for a guy who's going to get 10-plus targets because they'd already be in your lineup. So Callaway has that connection developing with Jameis Winston and going against Seattle, and that's still a bad defense. Look, I know they didn't give up a ton of passing yards to the Steelers on Sunday night, but that's because it's Ben Roethlisberger in his advanced age and his advanced arm, and it's surprising they didn't actually give up more, but still. I'm not worried about the Saints getting shut out. Let's just put it that way. Michael Thomas is still weeks away from returning. Not going to happen. Callaway is a guy who absolutely could make a big play once again. So I'm going to put him in lineups wherever I have him. All right, before we roll on with the rest of our boom picks, because if you enjoy this channel, maybe you're already a subscriber, you can consider supporting us by becoming a patron. All the information on how to join on that Patreon page is in the description below. We definitely would appreciate that. All right, Chris, let's keep going. Give me another boom play for week 7.
All right, no more tight ends, I promise. Let's go wide receiver. And let's go with a guy I rarely recommend, and that is Mecole Hardman. We saw last week Tyreek Hill had that quad injury. He played the lowest amount of snaps he's played in a really long time. It's probably going to bother him maybe for the rest of the season. But that's good news for Mecole Hardman because, yeah, Tyreek Hill, when he's out there, is probably going to get the ball thrown to him. I mean, he played, barely half the snaps and still got 12 targets last week. But it's going to give Mecole Hardman more opportunity. And against Tennessee, that's all a receiver really needs is some opportunity because pretty much every receiver booms against Tennessee except for Laviska Shenault. But I think Mecole Hardman is going to have a great game this week. If you are looking for a desperation flex play, who can boom, put Mecole Hardman in your lineup. It could happen.
I've never been a huge Hardman supporter, but I'm kind of getting on the bandwagon now. I think this offense is going to be a little different going forward, like you said. But let's actually go back to tight ends. I have one for you, and a guy I don't always recommend, but Tyler Higbee. Look, you can't ignore the fact that among all tight ends, he is number 1 in red zone targets. Always a chance to score a touchdown. And of course, going against the Detroit Lions, as you know, the Matthew Stafford revenge game this week. I don't know if that counts, but it doesn't matter. Look, they're going to score points. Higbee is getting targeted in the end zone, in the red zone a lot. Good chance to score. And again, with this heavy bye week, your options are so limited. I think I have Higbee as one of the top 8 tight ends in this week. So to me, not just a potential boom play, but almost a must start. All right, Chris, another boom for week 7.
I picked this guy as a boom a couple weeks ago. It worked out. Let's do it again. Jameis Winston going against Seattle. Ignore what happened on Sunday night with Big Ben. Big Ben is done, right? He's done. That's not going to happen with Jameis Winston. Seattle, one of the worst defenses against the pass. Traquan Smith has a chance to be back this week. It sounds very hopeful that he'll be back. So Jameis Winston may even have an extra weapon. We know Alvin Kamara can take a 5-yard dump off to the house at any time. So I think Jameis Winston is in line for a boom week once again here in week 7. So if you're the type that streams quarterbacks, or if your quarterback's on a bye, or you just don't like the quarterback you have, go to the waiver wire, grab Jameis Winston.
Not a bad idea at all. And to finish, let me hit you with a running back. Look, times are tough when talk about a guy who was a fantasy MVP, 7, 8 years ago, and who was barely in the league last year. That's Devonta Freeman of the Ravens. So Latavius Murray is the other old running back that they've been rolling out. Well, he's got an ankle injury. Not sure his status for this coming week, but Devonta Freeman has actually looked better this whole time as far as cranking out yardage on his limited carries. If he sees an uptick in carries this coming week, and again, this is against Cincinnati, a more favorable matchup for them. So I think Freeman could actually have a nice game. Look, he had 53 yards and a touchdown just on 9 carries last week. So if he hits double digits, maybe the 12 to 15 range of a normal RB1, even in that offense, I think he could have a nice week. I won't go so far as to say he must be started. But again, we're looking for a boom play. You're probably desperate at running back or for flex like we all are this week. So why not give him a shot? All right, guys, that does it for our booms for week 7. Don't forget to check out also our bust video. Always working for you to try to help you win. That is our end game. All right, thanks for watching and good luck.